Welcome into the Phoenix Sports Podcast presented by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. I'm your host, Makayla Perkins, and joining me today is Espo, Chierstin Susel, and Craig Morgan. How's it going, guys? Everybody happy to be here? I know I am.
Winding down the NHL season. I'm a happy man.
Yeah, it's almost
sitting here
done.
next to Chelsea, too.
Yeah, Chelsea is joining us. Shout out to Chelsea.
Do we share the story?
No context. No, go ahead, Chierstin. Go ahead.
Okay, so all right, so I'm doing an interview for a project on the Coyotes that I'm working on, and we're totally outing him right now. Anyway,
Okay.
Shane Doan
I'll
gave
say
me a
it to him
call
tonight
on
as well.
Saturday. Craig is gonna make fun of him for it tonight, but he gave me a call for an interview on Saturday, and he goes, "Hey, Chelsea, it's Shane Doan." So I was like, "You were close. It's Chierstin."
It's better than Chierstin, which I'm sure you get
know
a
what?
lot.
I
right?
will actually take Chelsea over Chierstin.
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
I will.
explain to people how you break down your name when they ask how to pronounce it, because you got a really good phonetic way of
Yeah,
breaking it
because
down.
even when I say Chierstin, people just automatically just don't think that's a name, so they think
Yeah.
that they heard me wrong or that I have a speech impediment. Literally, I've had people be like, "Oh my god, I thought you just had this speech thing." I'm like, "No, that's my name." So I have to say, think of a cheerleader. It's Chierstin, and about 50% of the time from there they get it. I'll be like, "Okay, like a cheerleader, got it. Okay, Kristen."
And then there's the last name. What do you do
And then
with
there's the last name. Yeah, I don't know. I just say Susel, Susel.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that hard. I don't know, but I guess I'm in the
I don't
minority.
Good thing you didn't choose a real public career where people try to
Have to say your name all the time. Well, Espo also blew my mind yesterday. He told me how the Mercury got their name. Do you guys know this? Craig, you might know.
Oh, I don't know.
Actually.
Okay, so apparently it's because the Mercury is the closest planet to the sun, the Phoenix Suns, the Mercury.
That's a good reason.
Right?
Are you kidding?
I had the same
I mean,
reaction.
it works on a few levels. With the
That is the
thermometer.
cutest thing I've ever heard.
I had the same
Yeah.
reaction. I had
That's
no
why
idea.
the logo looks like a planet, kind of. That's the other thing.
Because the Mercury is the closest planet
That's
to
a
the
fun
sun.
fact.
Who
Right?
came
like
up
that.
with that?
I like that.
I don't know. Come
I'll
on,
just
history
take
buff.
credit for it. I was 12 when I'm sure it was somebody in their
To
marketing
launch your
department.
career,
then.
right?
Yeah, when I was 12, I came up
I
with
might
it.
need to do a deep dive
Yeah.
and who came up with that name.
Yeah.
They
That's a
all-
fun story, actually.
Yeah.
They also had a mascot their first year that totally disappeared, just went away. They're super embarrassed. Even when I was working in the building, I couldn't get anybody to show me a photo of what this original mascot was.
Wow. Like witness protection.
Yeah.
Like
kind
you
of
don't
thing?
know what it is, or you just don't know what it look like?
I don't even I don't remember what it was called, but nobody would show it was like a embarrassment. It felt like to.
Well, it
for
couldn't
them
be much
first
better than
year.
the one they have now. The one they have now is like a purple kangaroo hybrid with some creature that I don't understand. It's very scary.
It beats our baseball team having a freaking bobcat
That's
when
true.
they're snakes.
That's
just
true.
because it used to be called Bank One Ballpark.
We talked about that this morning. Kristen. I'm done.
I'm done.
Chelsea, all right?
I was about to read
It's
Josh's
Chelsea.
comment. I was
Wow.
about to read Josh's comment, so he got me all mixed
Oh
up with
my
Kristen.
That's gonna be a
Chierstin
thing.
didn't realize
We're off the
where the
rails.
where the bobcat came from. Oh god, it's gonna be a fun podcast. Josh, yes, it's like the GIF pronunciation. Are you guys GIF or GIF? It's GIF.
GIF.
GIF. Yeah. Okay. Good. It stands for graphic interface format. So graphic.
Jif is a peanut butter.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I hate
exactly.
people that say GIF. It makes me so mad. I
Yeah.
get it. Literally hurts my soul.
You hate our head of production.
On that
I'm
note,
pretty
though,
sure
Jif, Skippy, or Peter Pan.
it's Jif.
Yeah, it's Jif for me,
It's
too.
Jif.
Yeah, I'm a GIF person too.
For what?
Peanut
Peanut
butter.
Oh. Yeah, I don't eat peanut butter.
Oh,
Oh my god.
okay. Thanks for your contribution, Chelsea.
My intern giving me yet another reason to fire her. Just kidding. She's agreeing with us. Thanks, Mallory.
You can't fire your intern. You do
She
not
doesn't
have
know
that
who
power.
Willie Nelson is.
Okay, you of all people should not make fun of anybody.
We don't
for
talk
something.
about that.
Blown
We don't
away
talk about
on
that.
Twitter when she was talking about that.
We don't reference that here. Nobody knows. It's fine.
Yeah, go.
Why
Go
are we here
search,
today, Mac?
TikTok.
No, don't look on TikTok, please. It's fine. Everything's fine. That reminds me, if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't said hi in the comments yet, drop a chat, say hello. We love to include you guys in the show. And if you're watching on Twitter, head on over to YouTube so you can join us in the chat. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and then if you're listening to this in podcast format, give us a 5-star review. We definitely appreciate it. We've got a great topic planned today, and I think it's going to get a lot of us fired up because we in Arizona, we are special for many reasons. We have 4 professional sports teams here, and I think all of us are keenly aware of the unique and special players and circumstances that surround the team. But we get a lot of disrespect from the national media and people outside of Arizona in general. And there's been a hot topic going on, obviously, right now with Devin Booker and the MVP debate. So it kind of got my wheels turning in my head thinking of, well, if Devin Booker can get disrespected, there's lots of other athletes in Arizona that also get disrespected. So we're going to be talking about the most underappreciated Arizona athletes currently. We'll also throw in some all-time names in there too, because I just really want to know what you guys think in terms of the teams that we cover, who you think is underappreciated when it comes to the national media, because I think there's quite a few names we can probably bring
all
up.
of Arizona, yeah.
Basically, yeah, the entire state of Arizona is underappreciated. But I also am glad it's underappreciated because I don't want everyone and their mom moving here, you know? Like,
They
just let
are
them
moving here,
No,
actually.
no.
Seriously.
Have you? You obviously haven't been here the last 20 years. Like everybody's moving here. It's nonstop.
I just hope that they think it's like a desert wasteland and they don't want to come here because
That's what. Yeah, you just got to tell people that. What's
Yeah.
it like there? Is it really that hot? Oh yeah.
it's a desert.
I remember when I
wasteland.
first moved here from Ohio, and granted I was in high school still, but at 17, like I had peers that were like, so it's just like desert, like you just live in the sand out, like they thinking like it was like the Sahara Desert, like just like an actual, and I'm like, what? They're like, how do you like live in the sand? I'm like, okay, I'm done.
It doesn't help anytime there's a big national sporting event out here that every interstitial that they do going to commercial or coming back
A haboob.
is tumbleweed and
Right,
cacti
yeah.
and the mountains. It's like there's more to this damn city than that, you know, this whole state. You know?
Jose is saying they don't need to know. It's true. We will keep our desert oasis secret as long as we can. Hi, Ernesto. Hi, Charles. Good to see you guys. Welcome to the show. All right. So I think we should probably start off with the Suns because there's been a lot of debate around Devin Booker and the MVP conversation. But I want to know in general, Espo, who do you think is genuinely like underappreciated by the national media?
Well, first, before I get to Suns, I want to represent the other basketball team in town.
Yes.
And Diana Taurasi is,
Absolutely.
and this sounds crazy because she's viewed by most as the best in her sport, but I think she is very underrated here. I still think she's the best Arizona athlete of all time, professional athlete of all time, based on you look at her entire career here in Phoenix, everything she's accomplished on the international stage, in the WNBA, everything she's done. She is unbelievably underappreciated for the generational talent she is and the impact she's had on helping bring the women's game to the forefront. So I have her high on my list as a disrespected athlete.
Number 1 on my list too. Can I build
Go
on
ahead.
that?
Go ahead.
2004 first overall pick, WNBA Rookie of the Year, 3-time WNBA champion, 2-time Finals MVP, 5 Olympic gold medals.
Read it, Craig.
WNBA
List it.
MVP in 2009, 5 scoring titles, 10-time WNBA All-Star, and the all-time leading scorer in league history. Yeah, she's number 1 on the list, and it's not even close.
And
Not
Josh
even
brings it
close.
in the chat, underappreciated by salary too, which is a league problem,
It's a
Yeah.
league
but
problem.
but
Yes, it is.
very much so underappreciated in that way, and that's always been a stance for me. Is just how she gets love, but she deserves so much more than she's received both here and nationally.
I do feel like she is recognized, maybe not enough, but by the NBA. I feel like she has a lot of respect from the stars of the NBA and guys that also support the WNBA. So I love to see that.
Yeah, game recognized game is the saying, and obviously these players know how good she is both in her sport and on the NBA side. So that one stands out to me. From a Suns perspective, I'm going Monty Williams.
Oh,
Right.
Nice.
okay.
I like that.
I did not expect you to take that
Devin
route.
Booker gets some respect.
Mhm.
Not to the level he deserves, but I feel like Monty Williams is underappreciated. You look at this from a national perspective, and the national narrative, and we had Chris Vernon from The Ringer on last week, and he even brought this up. The national narrative is Chris Paul turned this thing around, right?
Mm.
And I understand it in context of Devin Booker because he was here and he lost, but prior to Chris being here. But Monty Williams has taken the Suns each of his 3 years and improved them by 10 wins each time,
Wow.
right? Or 10 or more wins each season. When you look at it, you look at what they did in the bubble. They go 8-0 on that run, and that in and of itself was a gauntlet of mental fortitude and getting guys prepared. And the Suns weren't even supposed to be invited there, right?
Yep.
I mean, they only did it because that was the way they could justify getting Zion in and a couple other stars from the Eastern Conference by expanding it to where the Suns got in. So they go in there and they have that immense run. Then they come in last year and everybody thinks they're a fluke by doing it. He doesn't win Coach of the Year from the national media. They give it to Tibbs in New York, who didn't do the kind of job that Monty did. And they still, injuries. They shouldn't have been in the finals. They come back. They have the best record in the league. They're the only team that'll be 60 or more wins this year. They will likely finish 8 games above the next highest record in the league, which only 17 teams have accomplished before in NBA history. What did Tibbs do this year? Absolutely nothing in New York. And I still don't think Monty Williams wins Coach of the Year this year.
Really?
Really?
That's what I was going to ask you.
Ooh.
Who's
I
winning?
don't.
Who wins?
Out in Memphis, their coach might win it. I think that's a very, very much a possibility. Some people think Tyronn Lue has an outside shot because all the Clippers stars got injured and he kept them afloat.
Ty Lue does not.
No,
deserve-
I agree. I mean, they were below 500 for a large portion of it. But when you talk to these NBA, people, that's a guy. Oh, look at the coaching job. I mean,
And it's voted on by media members, right?
media members, yeah. So I don't think they're going to give it to Monty because it's not the sexy. It's a big turnaround kind
Right,
of thing.
and that's often the case in the NHL. It happens that way too. But when you're not respecting the Suns as a title team, and a lot of people aren't, and yet he's led them to the best record in the league, there's a disconnect there for me. It's crazy.
Well, and it goes beyond that. Great guy.
Yeah,
right?
I was just about to say that.
Amazing human being, has been through hell in his personal life. I mean, and then he comes here and he realizes this is a true second chance for me. He admits to his flaws when he was coaching in New Orleans early in his career. He and Chris Paul decide, hey, we want to team up again. But my favorite part of the whole story is back 3 years ago, he looks at it and LeBron had decided to go to the Lakers. He's a finalist for the Lakers job. And he says, thanks, but no thanks. I don't want your job. And he comes to Phoenix, a 19-win team, a team that had been just putrid for a decade. And he turns it all around.
Yeah.
Monty Williams deserves as much credit as anybody for what's going on in Phoenix. And I don't think that, especially nationally, he gets the recognition he deserves.
I think it's just great to see a steady person in that role after the coaching carousel that the Suns went through. And I thought hiring Igor was the biggest mistake of all time when they hired Igor as their head coach. So to have a coach like Monty take the helm of a 19-win team, I think speaks to, like you said, his character. And more than anything in the world, I think Monty is a great human being. And he's instilled a culture shift into this team that you can see the players really it resonates with the players, and it speaks through how they play. They're so humble. They take accountability for their mistakes. They really play for one another and not themselves. And I think that's all credit to Monty Williams and the character that he has and the character that he's instilled in the team. And so for me, that alone speaks to why he should be Coach of the Year. And it's wild to me that anyone other than Monty Williams is being considered for that this year, because I think it's a clear and obvious choice. And if he doesn't win it, I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's wild to me.
I remember going up to Flagstaff for training camp his first year here, and the only thing that he was talking about was right now we're focused on changing the culture here and what he was able to do over the course of his 3 years. I mean, it's a complete culture shift.
Yeah.
But you even want to talk about, I mean, a lot of people like to say Chris Paul is the guy, at least on the court then, that has changed things around, and Devin Booker was the reason he came here. He was a reason he came here, but his relationship with Monty and other coaches that were on the staff was another reason why Chris Paul came to play here. So it all kind of starts with James Jones. Then it kind of starts with Monty Williams. But
Yeah, definitely. Do you think that there's a player that is specifically underappreciated on the Suns team if you had to pick a player?
Nationally or locally?
Nationally.
Because we're in a really weird position with the Suns. DeAndre Ayton locally is completely underappreciated, but I think nationally is appreciated, which is bizarre.
Yeah,
to
it's
me.
kind of a weird.
Devin Booker, and I will die on this hill, has been disliked from a national perspective since the 70-point game because of the way he got the 70 points and the fact that he was as young as he was when he did it. Earl Watson bent what was acceptable in terms of getting your player to 70, and that. So I think that's kind of led to a little bit of disdain in the national media, but it makes me laugh because I believe one of the big things you hear is, well, he scored 70 in a loss, right? I think I read a stat, and don't hold me to it, but it's something like 5 of the 8 players who have scored 70 or more in the NBA history have come in losses. So it's like and they're guys like Wilt Chamberlain who did this, who didn't get any slander for it. So I think Booker is underappreciated, but that narrative started to shift this year.
Okay.
And if they make another finals run, it's going to be almost impossible to underappreciate him. He should be a first or second All-NBA team player. He should be a top 4 MVP candidate. And if they make it to the finals and he has a good showing, he has a good chance at a finals MVP as well.
Can I add something about DA? And I think this is why the dynamic exists the way that it does. I think people nationally check in on the team and maybe started to really follow the team during their playoff run last year. And you see number 1 overall pick. You can see what his potential is on the court and how dominant he can be, but hasn't been there for the entire roller coaster ride that it's been to get DeAndre Ayton to that point. And here locally, we've seen him throughout the years mature and also have these moments where he is not living up to his potential and inconsistent periods of his career. Now he's a young guy, right? Totally, I mean, understandable. I'm not like faulting him for any of it.
He's 22. I mean,
but
oh my God,
the fan base has watched him night in and night out, and I feel like when it comes to Arizona sports teams in general, there's a lot of like national conversation that's just like we're pulling stuff because we kind of check in and we haven't actually emotionally or consistently been riding the ride with this team.
I think that's in part of it, but here locally, the fact that he's not named Luka is such an issue.
Poor DA.
I mean, that's the hard reality of it because everybody got pissed off, but in the end,
but last year I
DA's
feel
had
like
more
that changed.
success.
That changed last year.
But not with the Suns fan base. I think nationally people went, oh, well, look, he's a key part of a winning team. Luka may be an MVP candidate, but they haven't figured it out in Dallas, so it kind of evened out. Like, if anybody wants to complain in that draft, it should be Sacramento, who traded Marvin Bagley for a hill of beans to Detroit and got nothing, and he was the number 2 pick.
I don't even know what a
draft,
hill of beans is. Is that a thing?
No, it's just a bunch of beans, literally. Like Jack and the Beanstalk, like magic beans, yeah.
Manuel saying DA is very underappreciated to me. Dude gets more flack for not being Luka than praise for being an 18 and 12 defensive anchor with mid-range game. How do you feel about that?
I think it's 100% accurate.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's not much he could do locally outside of, again, help lead them to the finals to try to change the narrative. But,
well, that expectation is there. I felt like I started to see it shift a little bit within the fan base last year. But up until that point, very much so was they should have drafted Luka.
Yeah. Stephen Weiss saying nationally, Mikal Bridges. Do you feel like Mikal doesn't get his flowers nationally?
There are people talking about him as Defensive Player of the Year nationally. Like,
Yeah.
he gets respect for what he is. That's a funny thing too. Mikal Bridges, DeAndre Ayton, same draft, right? One goes 1, one goes 10. If you flip those guys, Mikal Bridges is getting the same crap, and DA's getting praised for who it is. Like, it's just funny how 9 spots changes things so dramatically. But I think Mikal gets his love for being a defensive stopper. People have seen what he did against Steph, what he did against Harden just this last week.
Which he'll hopefully do again tonight. Fingers crossed.
Well, Steph's not playing, so
never mind.
That makes it much
better.
Easy, but he should be guarding Clay if Clay's playing tonight, which should help neutralize him against the Suns. But yeah, I think Mikal gets his fair due.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, the Suns game tonight, we're going to be down at the Ainsworth hanging out for a watch party. We'll have a live pre and post game show. So if you haven't RSVP'd yet, you can head over to our Twitter account at PHNX_sports or at PHNX_Suns to RSVP, and you can come hang out with us. It's free. We want to see you. We want to say hi. We want to watch the game with you and hang out and have a good time. So make sure you do that. And
we got some autographed merchandise to get out too.
We have some merch.
Not us. We got Suns players that have autographed stuff for us.
Yeah, you won't be getting an autograph from us.
Shane will autograph a mustache comb for you.
So definitely come hang out with us if you don't have any plans tonight. We'd love to see you down at the Ainsworth, and it's going to be fun.
I think we need to have you sign some of your glasses.
That would be cool.
Is it the same glasses that you just switch off?
Yeah,
the lenses I think we need to give away like purple.
Don't tell people that.
It's like the man behind the curtain.
We'll put the link in the chat for tonight too.
Yes, we'll put the link in the chat to come RSVP and hang out with us for the Suns versus Warriors game. All right, Craig, when it comes to Coyotes personnel, players, where are you standing on who is the most underappreciated?
Well, let's be honest. It's hard to find Coyotes right now. They're underappreciated. But I do have a couple in mind. I first mentioned Clayton Keller because up until this season, the narrative surrounding Clayton Keller was that he was vastly overpaid. They gave him that lengthy contract extension with a 7.15 or whatever it is cap hit way too early, and he hadn't lived up to it. He honestly hadn't lived up to it. He was people viewed him as a one-dimensional player, and he wasn't even producing enough. Well, suddenly this season under Andre Tournier, he gets an opportunity to play in more situations, more minutes. He's protecting leads late in games. He's playing on the PK. Clayton Keller is basically a point-per-game player now, and now I think people are just starting to take notice of the fact that he is, suddenly looking okay at that number that they signed him for, that immensely unpopular former GM John Chaika signed him to. When people looked at that contract, then they said that's an albatross. You'll never move that contract, and he'll never live up to it. Well, he is now. He's got to do it for a longer period of time, but we're almost through an entire season now, and Clayton Keller's having a terrific season. Did you want to ask me something?
Well, it always drives me, why is the player given crap for a contract that is overblown that's given to him?
Right.
Is he supposed to tell the general manager,
Right, like
no,
all
I'd
of us,
like
like,
to
don't
take
pay me
less
all that
money?
money.
I would turn down that money if they
I don't
offered
deserve
us,
it.
of course.
Yeah, please don't give me more money.
It should be $20 million less than this. I do not feel this is
That's the way
right.
it is in sports, though. That's universal, right?
Yeah,
true.
it's true.
But, Clayton Keller goes into the offseason. He puts on 7 pounds of lean muscle mass. In all the years prior, he had had 5 pounds of muscle since his draft year. And that was one of the things that Rick Tocchet would talk about is he's not strong enough in battles. Well, he went and did it this summer. You can see it on the ice. And right now, Clayton Keller looks like a key piece of their future. And that's a great turn of events for the Coyotes. But the other player that I'm going to mention, we already tweeted this, is Lawson Krause. And this is a guy who touches so many bases for this franchise. He's a physical player. He really, really fits the mold of what GM Bill Armstrong wants his team to look like. He's big, he's fast, he can produce. He's a 200-foot player who plays strong defensive hockey as well. And on top of that, he's an unbelievable guy. He's Butterpig's dad.
The most important part of this entire conversation.
Yeah. And I could really see Lawson Krause. I know people talk about this. They haven't had a captain all season. They've run with a bunch of alternates. And Andre Tournier has said, I want to wait to see who rises organically to that position. I could really see Lawson Krause being a captain of this team. The one thing you look for in a captain is he's got to produce at a certain level to have widespread respect in the room. Well, Lawson Krause, unfortunately, he's hurt now, and I have a feeling he might be out for the rest of the season. But he's got career highs in goals, in points this season, 20 goals, 34 points already. He's looking like he's emerging. Also a guy who was given bigger opportunity, more minutes, and he's really, really taking advantage of it. And an unbelievable human being. So that's a guy to really appreciate on the Coyotes. He's a restricted free agent at the end of the season. Bill Armstrong told me he's the next guy that they're going to focus on getting signed to an extension. They want him around. They want him as a part of their core.
Yeah, I think he's earned it too. I really do think he deserves that extension. Nick L in the comments saying Keller, so he agrees with you, Craig. And then Charles Woodall Pike saying Keller inching closer to his first 30-goal season for a Coyote in a decade.
Mm-hmm.
That's
It's a
pretty
milestone.
crazy.
Yeah,
Heck of a
2 points
milestone.
off his career high, tying his career high in points. And the Coyotes have not had a 30-goal scorer since Radim Verbata did it in 2011-12 when they went to the Western Conference Final. It's been a
Dang.
long
Wow.
time.
That's
so
crazy. I
it would
did
be a
not
cool
know that.
milestone to hit.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I'm still sitting in some of Butterpig's fur as well.
Yeah.
One of those dogs anyway. We had a few of them.
That was an incredible podcast. One of my favorites.
Do you think Bill Armstrong is on that list, though, for
I
what
think-
he's been
I think-
able to do?
I think we're close to looking at that possibility. I thought about mentioning him too. Look, when we went into last off season, and that was really the start of the rebuild. I know he was here for a year, but that year was spent evaluating every aspect of the organization. And once he got through with that evaluation, he was like, okay, we do need to strip this to the studs. When they were moving guys like Darcy Kemper, Christian Dvorak, I kept hearing from national writers and other league executives, he'll never get a first-round pick for them. He did, for both of them. They have 3 first-round picks. They have 8 picks in the first 45 of this upcoming draft, which is just insane.
Yeah.
Step 1, he's checked that box without question. You got to execute beyond that, right? You got to see how the rebuild goes. And it's tough to pin it all on the GM because really now, I know GMs get credit for drafts. It's not about the GMs. It's about the scouts at this point. Those are the guys who are getting it done. But Bill put those scouts in place. So let's see what they can do if they can execute. They've got a lot of numbers. If they get another couple key pieces with some of the players they have here, with Dylan Gunther coming from Edmonton, this could be an interesting team in a few years. Maybe around the same time they're ready to move into that permanent arena in Tempe.
Well, and I was actually just about to bring that up. Underwear Only said, start planting your garden. And I'm curious because, Craig, obviously the Coyotes are the most disrespected team in the NHL by far and away. I really don't think there's another team that can hold a candle to
And
how much
it's
the
probably
Coyotes
fair,
get
right?
disrespected. Yeah.
It's earned, I would assume.
I-
Disrespect if it's earned.
Well, I mean, there are some things. Okay, I would say like 95% of the disrespect is earned, but I think there are people out there who just take it too far, especially people who go after Coyotes fans, say like, oh, the Coyotes don't have any fans, blah, blah. That's not true. Like they have a very passionate, very, very like supportive fan base. Like the Coyotes fans that ride and die for this team, like I don't see how anybody could say that the Coyotes don't have any fans. But I mean,
with all they've been through too, right?
Right.
To stick with this team.
yeah, is crazy. So, I mean, how realistically far out years wise do you think we are from the Coyotes getting their flowers?
It depends on what happens in these next couple of drafts. You know, the other thing that they haven't had that people don't talk about enough with you would think with a franchise like the Coyotes, they probably pick first or second overall at some point, right? They've never had a top 2 pick. They've never had any success in the lottery. That's where those marquee players come from. Now, I don't know if Shane Wright or Logan Cooley are generational talents like Sidney Crosby or Connor McDavid, but they're really good centers that could help this team. They need to have some lottery luck as well. If they get that lottery luck this year, or more importantly, next year when Connor Bedard is coming out and he is a franchise center, that could speed up the process a little bit. So we'll probably know after these next 2 drafts what the prognosis is there.
I have one for the Coyotes.
Sure, go for it.
Craig Morgan.
Craig
Most
Morgan.
underappreciated guy.
Most underappreciated.
Working in Coyotes hockey.
That's a good one. It's true. Craig suffers along with the team, and he has to ride or die with them, just like any person covering
Such
a team.
passionate dedication to the job.
It's true. There's no better out there than
Laying it
Craig
on
Morgan.
You know, the other thing I was going to say, Mac, with just feeding off of what you just said, a lot of national narratives are shallow. When it comes to portraying what's going on with the Coyotes. Somebody will dive in. Well, most of the time, actually, the national reporter doesn't even come to Phoenix. They just do it over the phone. They talk to a few people, and they think they have a sense of what's going on with the Coyotes. And there's a lot of nuance missing. There are a lot of details. I know you're diving into a lot of this right now with the story you're working on. I won't give too much of that away, but there's a lot more to the Coyotes story than people know. And it bothers me. I understand it. It's hard for national reporters to dive into a story this complex and try and portray it, but just be careful with some of the things that you put out there as gospel. Like, oh, all the players are unhappy about playing at ASU. Well, have you talked to all the players?
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to put them on the record, but I have talked to a lot of them. Most of them don't care.
Yeah.
So stop saying that. It's not true. It's factually incorrect.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, before we move on to the Cardinals and the D-backs, I got to tell you guys about DraftKings Sportsbook. They are our presenting sponsor, and I'm super excited about this weekend. We are going to watch some Final Four basketball. Who do you guys have? I want to know. Who do you think emerges victorious?
You're talking about the Frozen Four, right?
No.
Is BC
but go
gonna
Denver.
make it this year? No? All right.
Also,
Come
are
on,
we
Espo.
are we going to talk about our DraftKings Sportsbook King of the Show?
Who's the king of the show? What are you talking about?
Thank you. Oh,
What?
not me? Oh, okay.
No, is this crown on the show or no? Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Oh, there it is. Hey, Craig gets the crown.
Craig gets the crown. I didn't even notice it. All right.
Yeah, now that I'm pretending to look at my laptop,
I was
Right.
like,
Yeah,
I was like,
King
oh, is this
Craig,
not on the
let's
show?
go.
Nobody's recognizing what I'm talking
I
about.
don't pay attention.
I don't look at the screen.
All right, Final Four though. Who we got?
U of A.
Okay, that's the wrong choice. Anyways,
No, they're not available.
college basketball fans, join in the action.
I'll tell you, I'm rooting for Villanova and UNC just to see if there's another bet between Cam Johnson and Makayla.
Yep, that's a
I'm
good one.
rooting for that as well, but let's be honest. We're getting Coach K in the
kind of feels like
and
we
the
are.
Well, my
doesn't
other
it?
storyline is for if that's the case, then just have Coach K go out on, with the championship, and there we go. I know he's like, I feel like everybody who's not an actual Duke fan just hates his guts, and like, how dare you, if you're not a Duke fan, be cheering him on. I'm all for storylines. If I'm either I want that storyline or the Villanova UNC because I don't have any teams
Yeah.
left.
So nobody cares about Kansas, I take it.
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Just wanted to
But college
establish that.
basketball fans, you can join in the action on the court during the biggest tournament of the year with DraftKings Sportsbook. Turn your team's victory into your own big win. New customers can bet just $5 on
Just
any team.
$5?
Just $5. Only $5 whole dollars to
Wrong
win.
show.
You get $200 in free bets if they do. It really is that simple. If they win, you win too. I love the DraftKings Sportsbook app. It's super easy to use. You can deposit your money and withdraw it whenever you want, which is probably one of my favorite things about the app. DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also bet on college hoops with same game parlays, combined multiple bets for the same game for a bigger payout. Obviously, the more legs you add, the more money you can win. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code PHNX. Bet just $5 on any college hoops team to win, and if they win, you'll get $200 in free bets if they do. Use promo code PHNX this week at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. 21 and up only, Arizona only. Gambling problem, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. Eligibility restrictions apply. See at DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. All right, Chierstin. When it comes to the Cards, who deserves their flowers?
Well, I think James Conner does not get enough respect, and a lot of it has to do with kind of this along the same lines as Craig was mentioning with the contract conversation of that he doesn't deserve the contract that he has. And so he was given a 3-year, $21 million deal this offseason. It was highly criticized. ESPN gave it a D grading. USA Today Sports ranked it number 3 on their top 10 worst contracts in 2022. And so I get it. He's a running back in that position. The conversation that many people have is like, listen, you can play and plug anyone at that position and you're going to get about the same production, right? Like you should never pay a running back unless you're a top 3 running back, maybe in the league. Don't even go there. You can get anyone else and they can have the same kind of production. I am not for simply looking at it statistically, although statistically he was 1 touchdown shy of tying a franchise record for single season touchdowns. So if you want to take a look at it statistically, I don't care if he hasn't had a 1,000-yard rushing season or not. Did he score 15 touchdowns or did he not? Because at the end of the day, that's the stat that matters to me. So statistically, you can argue that he might be worth it. But outside of that, he brings something that goes far beyond the stats. And he's a rally guy. He pumps his teammates up. He's a locker room guy. He's a great example of somebody that you want as a teammate, as a player. And he's an extremely hard worker. He is a guy that he's a tone setter when he's when he's out there. And so for those reasons, I think, and it was like a toss up between Zach Ertz and James Conner, but he was right there at the top of my list of guys that I wanted to see them retain this offseason. I felt like it was really important for them to do that. And so you take a look at what he did last year. You take a look at everything that he brings to this team. I think that he is worth that. You can also say, well, look at David Johnson had this great year, then he signed this big deal, and then what happened? Didn't work out for you, did it?
Different. The thing that I don't think enough people talk about with James Conner is he's a different kind of back. He's a power guy. He's going to run you over.
Correct.
It's not the finesse, dance around speed kind of guy. This is a guy that is the old school. I'm going to run straight up the middle and I'm going to knock you on your ass.
And David Johnson did I know we're like skipping. There's a guy in between there, but if you go back, because that was they signed him to a deal that he didn't live up to, but he was a guy that was afraid to run down the middle, and so totally different guy.
You're not talking about Beanie Wells, are you?
Him too. There's a litany of guys going way back that they've not been good at running back.
You said ESPN gave that deal a D.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's just disrespectful.
Those are good numbers there. It's like, wow.
Yeah,
D for disrespect. I mean, come on. I just don't understand that at all. I mean, you made a great case for why he shouldn't have gotten at least. I mean, geez, how disrespectful can you be?
Well, people again, it's surface level, like you were talking about, Craig. It's a surface level glance, and they go, 3 years, $21 million for this guy who didn't have 1,000 yards. Well, you don't look at it and look in totality and realize how integral he was to the offense. That 4 yards up the middle, it could, in a key situation, is much more important than breaking a 50-yard run in a meaningless point.
Well, and the Cardinals had previously struggled in the red zone at the goal line, and he came in and really helped change that
touchdown
situation
maker.
for them.
Yeah, without doubt.
I think he helped out tremendously this year with the Cardinals, and I think he will.
It's funny you mentioned draft grades too, or trade grades. I hate them.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Trade grades, draft grades. They all come before the guys played a single game, and we're grading them. Like it's such idiocy.
Draft compensation.
It is such idiocy. It is clickbait. Let's just call it what it is. How do you grade a trade or a draft pick before they've actually played a game? You have no idea. You do it 3 years down the road. When you have a sense
contract too. I mean,
yeah.
He could go out there and the next 3 years he could rattle off 1,000-yard seasons and have 12 touchdowns each. You don't know. You're basing it on. Yeah, I agree. It's lazy.
I think, and I don't know if I'm just like oversimplifying the problem, but I think a lot of it has to do with just nationally people don't invest in Arizona sports, obviously because we haven't won championships. So I'm hoping that Arizona sports just go on a tear and everybody just starts winning championships and literally force everybody outside of the state of Arizona to pay attention about our teams and care about our teams. But like I just feel like when it comes down to it, nobody invests or cares about Arizona sports because I guess the problem is we just haven't won championships. Is that?
I mean, I think that's fair. When you look at the sports media market, right? It's the same thing. We have one title other than the Mercury, right? It's the Diamondbacks title in 2001. That's all we've got.
Mercury Rattlers. And
I'm sorry. I don't want to offend any Rattlers fans. But to me, it's about, are you at the height of your actual sport? And arena football clearly is not the pinnacle of football. So
I feel like there's a lot of markets, though, that feel like their team. I mean, I feel like there's like a handful of markets that just across the board, like in football, you've got, Dallas, for instance, and there's the Lakers. Like, there's always going to be teams that are going to get more respect than anybody else. It doesn't even matter what kind of season that they're having. They're going to be talked about. They're going to be the relevant team, even if they're irrelevant on the playing field. And then the rest of us all just sort of like fight for the rest of the time.
Seriously,
right?
How many people think that this Lakers-Suns series, if it materializes, is going to be a competitive series? Like, are you nuts?
I think Shaq's
the Lakers are a terrible team.
Well, I think I saw something
selling that.
Isn't it like right now, if like the if the season ended now, the Lakers wouldn't even make it to the
They
playoffs.
fell out of the plan.
Jeez.
They wouldn't even be in the plan.
But I guarantee you, if you turn on ESPN right now, all they're talking about is LeBron James.
Well, they probably are because he's not playing again tonight.
Yeah, but what
Shocking. He has a
happens
sprained
is
ankle.
Lakers fans claim that they're being disrespected
Oh, God.
by that. It's like, no,
Miss us.
everybody thinks they're disrespected. In Phoenix, we just happen to actually.
If you live in the city of Los Angeles, Boston, or New York, I never, ever want to hear the word disrespect come out of any of y'all's mouth. I do not. It's so
my
frustrating.
Point exactly. Yes.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, if James Conner helps the Cardinals make it to the playoffs again this year, and he has a season like he had last year, do you think that stops the narrative that he's not good, overrated?
I don't know. I think that maybe. I think that there are people who always just think that you could get a better deal elsewhere. Like people who only look at it from like he's a running back and here are certain stats.
Yeah.
And just don't ever think that you should pay a running back that kind of money. Like I don't know that that's going to necessarily change their perspective on that. But
That's going to take all 3 years.
For sure, all three. Yeah, I mean, if he scores 15 touchdowns every year in his contract, then no, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's what have you done for me lately? And if they get to that third year and he kind of sputters out in that second year and they're going into that third year, people are going to be like, look at that albatross of a contract. That's a waste. You know? Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Well, D stands for disrespect, but you know what B stands for?
Be better.
Balls.
All right.
Oh, we're doing this one, huh?
Wow. Okay.
I watch Sesame Street a lot, and I've never heard that for the letter of the day. So.
Okay. We want to thank our friends at Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels.
What are they calling them now?
Family jewels.
I can't. I'm not gonna be able to make it. Manscaped Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with the exclusive offer for you. Get 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code PHNX at manscaped.com. That is a great deal. Again, that's 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code PHNX at manscaped.com. The Performance Package 4.0 by Manscaped has arrived, and oh man, it's a game changer. I couldn't tell you personally, but
I'm really glad I'm in this 2-shot with you.
Inside the package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker, ear and nose hair trimmer, crop preserver, deodorant, crop reviver toner, performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all your goodies.
Oh, no,
I thought we were going in a different
I
direction.
want to know what my crop is. All right?
Trust me when I say I'm not even gonna read that. I can't. All right, get 20% off and free shipping with code PHNX at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Use code PHNX. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools. Get the right tools for the job with Manscaped. If my mom or my grandma is watching this, I'm so sorry.
Can we go back to the 2-shot, please, Shane? Oh, please, I implore you. Make that last 2 minutes of my life worthwhile. Go to manscaped.com. Use the code PHNX.
Oh my God.
Please.
Thank you for the encouragement, Max. I really needed that. Josh Hunt, Manscaping ad reads are back. Let's go. Oh God. They're great for everyone but me.
Petey.
Can't wait
He's
for
been
Petey to bring
typing
it.
away for months now.
Oh God. Sunglasses and beard oil, please. Leave my jewels alone, according to Jose. You guys, please go to manscaped.com and use code PHNX to make that misery worth it.
If you want to see Mac read this a bunch more,
okay, maybe
go to manscaped.com and use the code PHNX.
All right, quickly before we get into our game, because I have a fun game plan for us, I do want to talk about the Diamondbacks and their most disrespected player nationally. I think it's pretty obvious at this point. If you guys had to guess, who would you say? Who would you go with? It's like, oh shit.
Can I name a Diamondbacks player right now? No.
I actually asked that on last week's podcast.
And I was like, oh my God, Eduardo Escobar. I totally confused him with, I still can't think of his
David
name.
Peralta.
David Peralta.
Okay.
And
it's okay.
He's like my favorite player. And for some reason, I can never remember his name.
It's okay.
I
think everybody's...
That basically sums up D-backs fanhood.
Yeah, I think everybody outside the really, really passionate fans for Diamondbacks have kind of checked out on Diamondbacks baseball. They had a really, really rough last 2 years. Obviously, 2020 was a shortened season, and then 2021 was just an injury-prone mess of a year. They just bombed in their league. But I do think Ketel Marte is definitely worth talking about, and I don't think he gets talked about enough. Obviously, his incredible breakout year was 2019. He hit 330 with 32 homers in a year, which is great. He obviously went to the All-Star game that year, and he finished fourth in MVP voting. So I think 2019 was probably his peak year, and people say, oh, well, he kind of like fell off. But I really don't think that's true. Even last season, he only played in 90 games. He was dealing with like an injury last season, and he still hit 318 for 14 homers. So he's still playing really great baseball. And, obviously there's a few factors that contribute to why he's not getting the recognition. English is not his first language. So all of his interviews are done in Spanish, which obviously does not help. But Major League Baseball...
He speaks English.
He speaks it, but it's not...
I've done a one-on-one with him. It's not great. But yeah, he does speak English.
So obviously Major League Baseball in general just has like a marketing issue of its players. But then when you add into the fact that they kind of...
hold my beer.
Yeah, they kind of just like don't do a good job of marketing their players. But then I think they take an easy way out with using his language barrier as a reason not to put him on shows and whatever else. I think Ketel Marte deserves way more credit. And look at the deal he just signed. The first deal he signed was a very team-friendly contract, and he just signed another team-friendly contract, which was an extension of the first one. And so I think that speaks to him as a person. I think he cares more about the environment and the team that he's a part of than making money or winning, I guess, because, it's going to be a couple years before the Diamondbacks are competitive again. They have to wait for all of their stars in their system to kind of make it to the big leagues before they really go all in. Obviously, that kind of talks about why they were quiet in the offseason and didn't make a lot of big name acquisitions.
You mean those 2 weeks that they had?
Yeah.
That were in offseason in MLB?
They basically just signed 3 pitchers and called it a day. But I really do think Ketel Marte is a star. I think he's a great human being. He's really, really involved with the D-Backs Cares program, and he's always out in the community giving back to kids especially. And so I don't know. I just think it sucks that he doesn't get more attention, because he really is a great player. Obviously, he's not like a Mike Trout or a Mookie Betts, and he's going to go out and hit, I don't know, like 50 homers in a season. But he is a great player, and he deserves way more recognition than he gets, especially from the league and especially from a player marketing standpoint. So
what I like, I'll put a positive spin. Since he wasn't nationally recognized as well as he should have been, they got a nice contract out of the deal, so it kept him in Arizona because he wasn't outpriced. That's one.
I do think he's maybe disrespected a little bit, but at the same time, when he got a lot of attention in 2019, and it was expected that he would build off of that, and he hasn't. Now, you had COVID and shortened season. I mean, just there's been a lot of stuff. It's not necessarily his fault,
right?
But he definitely did not build off of that 2019 performance, and so he sort of just kind of fell into just, hey, he's in Arizona, he's a Diamondback, he's he is what he is, and I don't want to call it, I was going to say fell into irrelevance. I wouldn't call him irrelevant, but he just isn't really talked about. But I think that has a lot to do with it, because in 2019, he definitely was getting a lot of attention.
Yeah,
nationally.
For sure. I agree. I mean, but I still think he does enough to be talked about more than he is now.
For sure.
It's not like he's a bottom barrel player only like hitting like sub 200. Like he had a 318 season last year, and he still managed to hit 14 homers even though he only played 90 games. So if you do the projections, like he was on track to be pretty close to his 2019 year. So I don't know. It bothers me that he doesn't get more flowers, more recognition. Giselle saying Ketel Marte, period. Josh Hunt saying we got a huge steal with Marte's contract. I totally agree. I can't believe that they got him for what they did. Giselle also saying I think the D-backs also don't do a good job of marketing him in general. I 1000% agree with that.
It's the old, if a tree falls in the forest and knows there's a hero, it doesn't really make a sound.
Right.
Yeah.
He can do all these great things, but I mean, especially last season, the average attendance even
Oh my God.
here, let alone
Yes.
on ratings on television were low. So
Yeah,
if you're
Chase
not
Field
even
was empty.
being seen in your own market, it's
Mhm.
tough to gain any kind
Right.
of national traction
Yeah.
as well.
D-backs should take a page from the Coyotes book. If you're going to have the forest, you might as well light it on fire. Then
Oh, yeah.
people will notice that.
And then quickly move to a smaller forest.
Yeah. Hey, Phoenix Municipal Stadium, we got some room. But yeah, hopefully, I mean, I really hope the Diamondbacks turn things around this year. I think this year is going to be way better than last year if they can avoid injuries. And a lot of the players that they have in their system have a projected debut year of 2022. So there are a lot of exciting things that will be happening this year for the Diamondbacks that I think will hopefully turn it into a more positive direction, because I love baseball and it breaks my heart that the Diamondbacks just kind of seem to be forgotten about in the national perspective, and sometimes here locally too, which I guess could be justified in
Only
some
team
ways.
that's won a title in the city too.
It's
but
true. The only team that
Male,
has done.
male sports anyway.
I'm just going to add one sort of devil's advocate thing here, just because it was brought up, and Giselle saying the D-backs also don't do a good job marketing him in general. I wonder how much. I'm just thinking back to that one-on-one I did with him right after he was named as an all-star. He was like really nervous, great guy, like, and he's like super funny too.
Yeah.
He's a great locker room guy.
Yes.
Loves to joke around. He's a funny guy, but his English is not great.
Yeah.
He was super nervous to do the interview, and maybe there's like a part of it where he just really would rather not be like a face in the videos and in media and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, maybe it's something to think about.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just not what he wants, and I have no clue. But
It's a fair point. It's a good point for sure. I can't blame him either if that's that's the direction he wants to take. More power to him. We'll take that contract because this is steel. Okay, I have a fun game to play really quick to wrap up the show. Of course, it's called This or That with Mac. And I'm going to present you guys with some this or that scenarios, and you're going to tell me which you would rather pick. Obviously, if you're watching and you're in the comments, please tell us what you would pick in these scenarios too. We'll read your comments out as we go along. Let's do the first one. Would you rather be underappreciated but you're fairly paid, or would you rather be appreciated but be underpaid?
Well, I've done the appreciated and underpaid, so I'm going to go underappreciated but fairly paid. As long I'd prefer overpaid, but I'll take fairly paid. So
All right, there you go.
I'm with
Chierstin?
Espo on that one.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Chierstin's thinking. She's got her
you're doing
thinking
this a
face
lot,
on.
no, I've been in
Put on
both.
my glasses so I can actually read
I think I'm gonna take the being fairly paid at this point in my career.
Oh, okay. See, words of affirmation is my love language, and being appreciated is my favorite thing in the world. So I'll take a discounted price if you tell me how much you love me.
Yeah, get back to me in
shouldn't
5
have told
years.
us that.
Oh,
We
no,
don't.
wait. I take it
We
back.
appreciate you, Mac.
Charles Woodall Pike agreeing with me, saying, honestly, I would rather be appreciated. There's just something about being appreciated that makes you feel so good, and a little self-confidence boost. All right, let's do the next one. Would you rather eat ketchup on mac and cheese? This is Craig's personal hell, because Craig
Aw,
hates ketchup.
come on.
Would you rather eat ketchup
Leah
on mac
come up
and
with
cheese?
this question?
No,
Did
this
Leah
is
come
in
up with this
honor of
question?
Leah, though. Or
Oh.
ketchup on white rice. This one's easy for me because
Mac and
ketchup
cheese.
and mac and cheese is so good.
No, why would you ruin such a good thing in mac and cheese?
Mac and cheese
You
needs
You put it
ketchup
on
to
rice
be good.
because rice by itself is gross. So if I gotta eat if I gotta subject myself to that crap, I'm gonna do it on the rice and not ruin my mac and cheese.
I've had ketchup on my
Oh,
mac and
ketchup.
cheese for forever. It's the best food combination on the face of the planet.
Ketchup is just Walmart pasta sauce. All right. If I'm gonna
It's
have to
better
eat
than
tomatoes, give me that. That's it.
I
Tristan
put
also
ketchup and
enjoys.
hot sauce on mine.
Yeah, me too. I like that.
I really have to make a choice.
Yes,
between
Craig,
those
you
two
have to
things?
choose. For those of you who don't know, which I don't know how you don't know at this point, but if you don't, Craig is so anti-ketchup, it's like his least favorite thing in the world. What would you do, Craig?
Which is going to absorb the flavor more, like hide the flavor of ketchup more.
Probably
Mac and
cheese.
cheese.
I'll go with the
yeah.
mac and cheese. then.
Okay.
I'll tell a
I'll
quick
gag
story.
it down, probably go vomit somewhere, and that's
Ketchup
how it'll
is
play
not
out.
that
I used
bad.
to be-
Wash it down with an IPA.
Oh yeah.
When I was a kid,
Perfect
I was
day.
allergic to ketchup, but I loved it so much that my parents couldn't get it away from me. So I would dip a fry in ketchup, just eat the ketchup off the fry, break out, and still eat it.
Your
that's how
body
much
was
I
telling
love.
you
that's
something,
how much-
Chelsea.
that-
Your body was telling you something.
That's how much I love ketchup.
Okay,
and I
well,
just ignored my body completely.
I don't know if I love ketchup that much. That's something else.
That's a crazy story, though.
Yeah.
You really
Jose-
broke out. You just
I
keep
would break
eating
out in hives and I would do it anyway.
Jose says neither. Josh says
Jose.
ketchup on white rice, so he agrees with Leah. Bees is telling me to stop pushing my ketchup on mac and cheese agenda. I
Amen.
can't. It's so good. You guys, you have to try it just once. I promise.
Yeah.
If you try it
Don't
With
ruin
hot
once,
it.
sauce,
you'll
Cholula,
like
add the
it.
Cholula in there.
Ernesto saying ketchup on white rice. Sly asking Craig, what do you do with your fries? Yeah, what do you put on fries?
salt.
That's it?
That's it.
They're so dry.
Did you ever try mayo?
Not.
Aioli?
Don't. You know, we were
Chipotle?
doing okay, Espo,
I
until
hate
you
the
mentioned
ketchup, too.
mayo. Have you
I'm-
seen Pulp Fiction?
I have, yes.
Okay.
Bees saying that
Play
it should
that
be a
scene
crime
right now?
against
Yeah.
humanity. Bees, come on.
Aioli with fries.
Aioli
goes
is great. That's a
thank
good
you.
call.
Thank you.
That's a
Thank
good
you.
call.
You guys just try it. Just
Why
try
am I
ketchup mac
sitting
and
next
cheese.
to Craig? I say it, but then when Shane says it after the fact, Craig's
You said
like,
aioli?
"Yeah."
I didn't hear it.
He was
Sorry.
too distracted
by
by
me.
me.
Apologies, Chelsea. Chierstin, whatever it is.
Oh, come on, Kristen.
Never gonna
All right, next
I will
one.
always call you Chierstin.
Thank you. I
Right?
appreciate
There you
that.
go.
Okay, would you rather pick CHGO or DNVR?
Why are we shanking our... This is like, which sibling do you like most? Well, I don't particularly like either, but...
why don't you say like, where would we rather go, Chicago or Denver, so that we're not like pinning them?
Oh,
No, you can only pick one.
Wait,
so our sister station
Is this
is
why you came in the room, by the way?
CHGO in
For
Chicago
this particular question? Okay.
or DNVR in Denver. Only one can survive.
For me, Chicago's my hometown.
Hold
yeah.
on.
Okay.
Chicago.
So Craig,
There's a logic
CHGO.
to this. If DNVR goes away, we all probably go away. So DNVR is the right answer.
I mean, I'm a
don't know. I
Colorado
could
girl.
see
I'm from
Brandon setting up
Colorado.
a corner
So.
office in Chicago. I mean,
Oh, that's true. We should exile CHGO just because they got a better studio than we have.
And then we'll take their space.
And then we'll take their space. No, okay, but
Oh, Josh with in the chat with the greatest comment. DNVR would have won if
Jamal Murray wasn't injured. Oh, dunk on him, Josh. I'm saving DNVR because I'm from Colorado, so DNVR gets to stay on the island.
Get out!
DNVR in 4.
Wait, who'd you guys take?
I picked DNVR.
I picked
I didn't say.
DNVR.
I was hoping that Craig, you just outed me. I was hoping I wouldn't have to answer. I guess I'm just gonna go DNVR. It seems like the popular answer.
Oh, sorry, CHGO. You got the chop. Charles
your
Woodall
back.
Pike agrees, going
got your back.
DNVR. B saying DNVR, but only if Jamal Murray is healthy. Jose, DNVR. Chris saying both groups are so nice to me. That's because, Chris, you're family and we love you.
Why do I feel like that slightly implies we're not nice to Chris?
No, Chris knows we love her. Sly saying we got weed, no need for DNVR. That's true. Weed's legal here now, so sorry, DNVR. We got a little surprise for you guys on a partnership side. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Can't give too much away.
Hey.
Chris saying DNVR. Okay, cool. So I feel like DNVR is a consensus here. All right, let's do our next question. Would you rather have full control of the team you play for and the roster, aka LeBron James, or would you rather have full control of your endorsements and sponsorships so you get to pick free stuff, whatever you want? What would you go with? Which is also LeBron James.
Endorsement.
I would go with both.
Endorsement and sponsors. I don't want the pressure of putting together the team.
Because look
you
what
see
happens
what
when
happened
it
to
sucks.
LeBron?
What are you going with, Chierstin?
That is a little tough because I feel like I would like to pick like where I'm like living and spending my time because that's a big impact on my life. But like the money aspect of things are also nice and controlling your own sponsorships and stuff. But I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to go with the first one.
The control the team and the roster?
Yeah.
Okay,
I think
Craig,
so.
what would you do?
I'm going
Wait,
with
is
sponsor.
that it's who you're going to too, right? Like where you're. Which
Yeah, you get to pick
Okay,
which
okay,
team,
all right.
the whole thing.
I'm going with sponsorships. I
Yeah?
want cool stuff.
You want all the cool stuff? Who
I
would
want
be
all
like
the
your
cool
ideal
stuff.
sponsorship if you could get a sponsorship right now?
See, you just put me on the spot. Like that.
Manscaped, obviously, right?
Definitely Manscaped. Use code PHNX. All right, let's go to our last one, I think. Would you rather... Okay, so opening day is around the corner. So would you rather have the pool seats in the outfield for opening day, or would you rather sit right behind home plate?
Nobody wants to see this in a swimsuit. I have to be behind.
Aw,
I have to
Espo.
be behind home plate. Thanks, Saul. That's why you're the best, man.
Oh, okay. Chierstin, where are you sitting for opening day? Pool seats? That's why I got Manscaped. You can fix that, Espo. Josh saying pool seats are goated. Jose saying outfield.
Yeah, I'd be
Charles
in the
saying
outfield.
pool seats.
I'd be in the pool seats. Feels like it'd be more fun. I feel like the people sitting behind the plate would be like, doing their stats. Maybe somebody would have like a radar gun or something.
That's me. I
You get
sit
the
behind home
nerds
plate
there,
with my
so-
book.
I'm going in the outfield.
Yeah. Also, it's like a super unique. I mean, you could sit behind home plate anywhere, but like, where else can you watch a game in a pool?
That's
And
true.
it's always been on my bucket list. Aren't the tickets like outrageously expensive?
I don't know. I think you can split it with like people though. So if you have a group,
Just hop the fence and join somebody.
yeah.
Be like, hey, I'm
Can I show like a media credential and send my, hey, I'm here to do a story, an interview, just cannonball in the pool?
Ernesto says
Sure.
pool seats too. Chris says that she would rather do home plate. Yeah, I'm a home plate girl. I like to keep stats and watch the game. So, I like to be in on the action and watch the
I got a
pitches as
friend
they
just
come
like
in.
that.
Yeah, I'm a nerd. I'm a 90-year-old. In case you didn't know, I'm a 90-year-old at heart. All right. Well, that is our show for today. Thank you guys so much for joining us in the comments and for watching along. Don't forget that we just dropped our awesome new hats. So if you go over to PHNX Locker, you can pick up any one of our new hats. Espo is wearing one right now. They're super cool. The dad hat is my favorite, but the white golf hat is also pretty sweet. Make sure you go over to PHNX Locker, pick out a hat, add it to your cart, and while you're there, sign up to be a member of PHNX. If you sign up for an annual membership, you get a free shirt. Espo has on our Devin Booker on Fire shirt, and then we have
all sorts of stuff behind us.
all cool these shirts all here. So, sign up to be a member, join the family. You get access to our members only Discord where we're in there talking with all of you. You get access to all of our written content. Craig's beautiful, amazing articles that he does such a great job writing are all accessible to you if you become a member of our family. So
They're accessible to you as well.
That's one of the 17 shirts the Suns have put out in an attempt to match the Coyotes for merch sales. Is that right?
And here's number
Ooh.
18.
There's number 18 with our new MVP
Yeah.
shirt. Make sure you check that out. It is
Yeah,
pretty
okay.
sweet.
Win some games, Craig. We'll get you new merch, all right?
Say it. I
And
thought it was
then
all
join,
about the money.
join us at the Ainsworth
I thought it was all
tonight.
about the revenue.
Yes, make sure you come to the Ainsworth. We talked about that a little bit earlier. So get your tickets. The link is in the chat somewhere. You might have to scroll up a little bit, but come hang out with us. We'd love to see you. And thanks again for watching.
Lindsay will autograph a copy of the book
She
that she's
will.
on the cover of.
Yes,
it'd
the
be a great
beautiful
time,
book.
yeah.
It's
And
going to be
Espo's
great.
autographed sunglasses too.
Sure. If you really, we'll find something for me to autograph. Why not?
Thank you guys so much for watching. Oh, here's Lindsay's book that she's going to sign. It's really great. I don't know if we can get a close-up shot of it. She's a great book cover model. I think that's her side gig. Come see us tonight at the Ainsworth. And thank you guys, as always, for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave us a like, and we'll see you next week.